Hey everyone, it's Rob at Mr. Robot Shop. Today I'm going to kind of go over a TurboDuo. That's an NEC. It's basically a TurboGrafx console. Here it says that it's a 4th generation game console developed by NEC released in 1992. So I'm going to turn my music off here. I'd never seen one before until yesterday. A gentleman brought his in, and this is what it looks like in real person here. So my focus is really off here. What's going on? Anyways, we'll deal with it. So it's a Duo, so what it means is you can actually stick the TurboGrafx game cards in here, which are these guys here, and then it also has an optical drive here where you can play the disc-based games. So right now I've got one called Splash, and it's playing on the TV right now. I'm trying to get this thing to focus in better. Hold on a second, I don't know if it's just the light or what. Yeah, must just be the lighting. Anyway, so I'd never seen one before. When I saw it, I'm like, eh. He came in and said, it's kind of a really nice game console, and you'll probably really like it and want it. I'm like, okay, I'll look at it. I went ahead on eBay and pulled it up, and they range usually from, like, on the cheap end about 300 all the way up to around 800. So I'm like, I'm kind of dealing in a class of game consoles that we generally don't work with. So, but I'd not seen one before, and since I do kind of collect this stuff, it was kind of a neat opportunity. So I went ahead and bought everything. Man, what is going on with the focus here? Just terrible. Anyway, so he had a ton of games with it, and then again, both disc and cartridge games. So I'm kind of just showing you the games here real quick. Loom, I think that was a PC game back in the day. I love the artwork on this on these games, really cool. And again, I really don't know a whole lot about it, so I'm not going to try to be an expert here and explain, what's what, and video quality and memory and speed, whatever. Look it up on the internet, okay? But I just thought I'd show you what I picked up here. I'm not really sure why these things are, even the TurboGrafx, the games are very expensive, the consoles are generally expensive. I'm going to take a stab. I'm going to say that it's probably more expensive because there were probably not as many made. I do know that the consoles were more expensive back in the day, about $300 I think for this one, and I think compared to like an NES or Super Nintendo or whatever, that ran 100 to 150, maybe $200. I think that was kind of prohibitive. Can't even talk right now. Price prohibitive based on people's income back in the early 90s. So nowadays I guess you got a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, you can pick those up for about $300 to $400, but obviously the dollar's not worth as much now. So something that would have cost $300 back in '92, probably in today's dollars would be worth in the neighborhood of $600. I think it's about doubled as far as the value of the dollar, or I should say it's gone down in half. Club Turbo, this is actually a little video game catalog. I didn't find any of these on eBay, so I'm going to keep it. It's not in great shape, but kind of cool though, so I'm going to keep that in the bag. Unfortunately, the guy was a smoker. The smell will go away, but there was a lot of like, you know, that smoky gummy residue stuff, you know, along the drive, and I tried cleaning out the best I could, but there, you can still see a little bit of remnants. But as far as functionality, the game console worked really good, so, you know, I did kind of lowball it a little bit because, again, I don't really plan on reselling this. It's just going to be a museum item. He did have, where is that little guy? This is an adapter here that allows you to plug in 5 controllers off the one port, which is kind of cool. Several game consoles back in the day had something similar to this, but allowed for multiplayer or more users than, you know, what was originally set up for the console. And obviously this one only has one joystick or controller port. That's your power switch right there. Let me get a flashlight here real quick. The side has a volume control and a headphone jack right there. That's your video port. And in the back, the only thing that's back there is the power cord. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut this off and then turn it back on. Now, what happens if there's a disk in the optical drive, if you hit run on the game controller, it will start the game. Now, he actually had 2 controllers, but one of the controllers, the run button, doesn't work very well. I mean, it's like near impossible to get it going. And even this one's very touchy. It's like I'm pushing it right now and it's not working. There it goes. So more than likely it probably needs to be cleaned. Let me grab this real quick here. I'm gonna answer the phone and you can kind of check this out. Mr. Robot Shop, this is Rob. Good. Uh-huh. Okay, I'm back. Had a customer call there. So anyways, on the disc games, when you pretty much have to go through the controller to run it. Now I'm going to turn it back off, and then the cartridge games actually, just like on the original TurboGrafx, they slide in the front here. I'm going to pull one out. This one's called Air Zonk. Hold on a second. It's kind of in there pretty good. And I believe the label goes up. We're just going to slide it right in. Snap it in. And then, actually, in the meantime, too, I will. This has a lock on the optical drive, which is kind of weird. I don't really know why you'd care if you locked it or not, but here's the disc. And again, you know, it was a little dirty on the inside. I did go ahead and clean it out a little bit, and it's definitely a lot cleaner than it was. So, all the discs that he had actually were in very nice shape, very clean, virtually no scratches. So, I'll probably be selling most of the disc because, again, I'm not going to be playing it. I may keep, you know, a decent game, but a lot of these games were running like, you know, anywhere from $50 to $100 to $200. So I mean, you know, there's a lot of expensive games here. So anyways, I got the cartridge in. I'm going to turn it on here, and it should just pop right up. So one thing I really like about the TurboGrafx series and this one too is you really almost never have to clean the cartridges. I don't know if you guys are familiar with like Nintendo and NES and the N64, but you always having to clean the cartridges all the time. But with the TurboGrafx and the TurboDuo here, they always seem to work with no cleaning, which is kind of nice. I really think they were ahead of their time when they put these games out. So again, press the run button. I didn't get a price on these controllers. Sweet, spicy, and bitter. I think the problem with the run button is everything you do requires that you hit the run button. So it's like, you know, I think that's why the buttons kind of wear out over time, because you know, they get pushed so often. So, but the graphics are cool, colors are nice and vivid. I think that's part of why people kind of gravitate for this console and kind of want it. I'm trying to get this thing to select here. I probably have to hit run again, yep. So this is a shooter game here. Looks kind of fun, actually. I'll probably end up taking this guy home and just play with it for a little bit to get a feel for the console, just so, you know, I can talk intelligently about it. But I really like the graphics. There's just something unique about them that kind of sets this console aside from a lot of other ones that I've seen come through here. So anyways, bottom line, if you get one, or if you come across one, I would recommend it. I think these are going to hold the value and go up in value. You know, obviously make sure the optical drive works. From experience, optical drives at some point just fail. That's the drawback with them. So, you know, just kind of expect that. I did see on eBay when I looked them up, they had a few of them that were listed as recapped. So I don't know if that means that some of the capacitors in here start leaking over time. That's probably what I'm guessing. But this one, I mean, the video, sound, everything looks really good. So I'm not gonna mess around with something that's working. So anyways, I appreciate you watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and like I said, definitely if you come across one, I would pick it up, because it's there's a lot of cool games. There's a pretty good following for it, and if you get a good deal on it and you want to turn it, resell it, you'll probably actually make some decent money. So guys, take care. Appreciate you watching. Have a good day.